20 shares in the Shyamalan kid, I have a feeling he's the future of movies.
We have an upcoming talent named Joss Whedon.
Stats?
Wrote Atlantis, The Lost Empire.
Bomb.
Titan AE.
Bomb.
Alien Resurrection.
An emotional bomb.
And Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which he's also turning into a show.
Ha! Who the hell would watch something like that? Don't invest in him at all.
Oh my god, Buffy's becoming a smash hit.
What? Well, what else has he got coming up?
A show called Firefly, a show called Dollhouse, and a movie called Serenity.
Buy them all, we're not gonna make the same mistake again.
You're right, we made a new mistake.
Jesus, they all taint! Okay, what does he have coming up next?
Horror comedy called Cabin in the Woods and the Avengers movie.
Avengers? Isn't the only other film he directed that Serenity bomb?
Yep.
Well, we're not gonna lose a bunda.
Avengers is one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
What?
Cabin in the Woods did well too, and Firefly got a cult following.
Joss Whedon is...
currently the most popular creator in Hollywood.
Okay, we gotta play the long game here. Even if something he does tanks, he'll find his audience eventually. What does he have coming up next?
Sequel to Avengers, a Shakespearean movie, and the Justice League.
Put everything we got into those projects. We are in it for the long haul. 2 comic book teams and a theatrical masterpiece. By God, we are not gonna make the same mistakes.
Again, if you try to take my corner away from me, I will not hesitate to give you a dirty look.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy, remember it? So you don't have to. If you were to combine the people who made Hunchback, Avengers, Lion King, Last of the Dogmen, and Finding Nemo together, what would you get? A blandly conceived, uninspired, exhausting, bland adventure that doesn't hold enough water to drown a rat, much less a civilization, that I kinda like. Disney hand-drawn films in the 2000s were kinda like Disney hand-drawn films in the 80s. True, Pixar was doing great, but everything from their 2D department was not pulling in the numbers they hoped, resulting in cinematic hand-drawn films being replaced with 3D animated films later. Like in the 80s though, they experimented with different ideas, and the one often seen as the black cauldron of the time was 2001's Atlantis, The Lost Empire. It had a PG rating, which back then for their animated films was rare. They wanted to tell a story leaning more towards older kids, and they were pushing to be seen as more aggressive and adult. So they put a lot of their top talent on board, including, like I mentioned, Joss Whedon, who always wanted to make an imaginative sci-fi fantasy adventure like the ones they grew up on. Americans didn't take, making $84 million on a $120 million budget. While overseas it did better, like Black Cauldron, it severely underperformed. And while I can't act like this is one of Disney's best, I do find myself enjoying it just as much now as when it came out. Yeah, it has some awkward moments and some story threads that don't make sense, but the ideas, visuals, and characters I think are all memorable and do leave a strong enough impact. But yeah, those awkward moments...
You have to stop the dirt from around the globe spanning the centuries!
Pretty awkward. Is it enough to cancel out the good of the film though? Well, let's take a closer look to find out. 20 years later, let's take a look at Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Classy having ancient Greek philosophers do your exposition dump. I'm a much bigger fan of Socrates' rebuttal. We see Atlantis as kind of a Wakanda before Wakanda. In movie form, relax, it's comedy. With technology light years ahead of its time, but their weapons of war end up sinking the city. I love the device a person uses to call out to people actually looks like a person calling out to people. Like, do the toilets of this world look like people going to the can? The Queen of Atlantis is called by a mystical force, leaving her husband and daughter behind. Oh, if you're gonna steal from Nadia, can you at least steal from the dubbed version? Actually, let's talk about that. There's an anime called Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, that apparently had a lot of similarities. From designs to characters to crystals to even a Nemo-style sub looking for Atlantis. The makers of Atlantis said they never saw it, but they did take inspiration from Miyazaki's Castle in the Sky. Coincidentally, Miyazaki did work on Nadia. Even the crystal-based technology they said they got from the works of Edgar Cayce, who was a big name in the early 20th century. It is quite a coincidence, but from what I've seen, I do think it's possible it is exactly that. A coincidence. I mean, Disney stealing from an anime would be show the thing next. Atlantis goes under, and we cut to Washington, 1914, where we see this film was clearly not stealing from Nadia, it was stealing from Stargate all along.
Cartography and linguistics, Milo Thatch speaking.
Yes, a geeky teacher slash boiler maintenance boy named Milo, voiced by Michael J. Fox, gives his theories about the existence of a lost civilization that's constantly laughed at except by an eccentric millionaire who gives him the technology and team to go find it. Fear not, Stargate would get their revenge when naming their spin-off series. Okay, if you've ever watched a Saturday morning cartoon, you know this is a classic narrative, so I don't see it as stealing as much as digging up tired tropes. But are they tiredly classic or classically tired? You probably heard dialogue like this at the beginning of something before.
This museum funds scientific expeditions based on fact.
There's a journal! It's in Iceland! I'm sure of it this time!
And congratulations on your transition from clock to human.
You have a lot of potential, Milo. Don't throw it all away chasing fairy tales.
You have a great future fixing boilers. Who knows? One day you might be promoted to cleaning cat shit.
I'm home.
That's right, I forgot I'm not married.
Milo James Thatch.
He's approached by Helga, voiced by Claudia Christian, who I'm just gonna say, this character's a little weird. I know what they're going for, the classic badass femme fatale, but her dialogue always seems less seductive and more odd.
How did you get in here?
I came down the chimney. Ho, ho, ho.
Sexy Santa. She takes him to her employer named Whitmore, who's built up as a creepy, domineering millionaire.
Mr. Whitmore does not like to be kept waiting. You will stand unless asked to be seated. Keep your sentences short and to the point. He doesn't bite. Often.
Jesus, what kind of Howard Hughes vampire beast are we dealing with here? Oh, it's just a sillier version of Martin Crane. He's actually really nice.
Preston Whitmore. Pleasure to meet you, Milo.
He doesn't bite. Often.
Join me in a little yoga?
No, thank you.
You see what I mean? She's kind of weird. Whitmore says he was a friend of Milo's grandfather who also believed in Atlantis and wants to fund his expedition to find it with the help of a lost Atlantean journal.
I said, Thatch, if you ever actually find that so-called journal, not only will I finance the expedition, but I'll kiss you full on the mouth. My embarrassment when he found the darn thing.
Not sure why he wanted pictures of that. Or the costumes. Don't Google me. He's introduced to his crew after this improvised line.
Carrots. Why is there always carrots? I didn't even eat carrots.
And we're introduced to another character who often improvised, Vinny, voiced by Don Novello.
I could unroadblock that if I had about 200 of these. Problem is, I only got about 10, plus, 5 of my own.
Apparently he would do only one take of the line as written, and then every following take would be him improvising the line, but with more jokes. And you can tell because he's by far the funniest character.
A lot of things we're not proud of. Robbing graves, plundering the tombs, double parking. But nobody got hurt. Well, maybe somebody got hurt, but nobody we knew.
He's introduced to other crew members, Cookie, voiced by Jim Varney, Mole, voiced by Corey Burton, and Dr. Sweet, voiced by Phil Morris.
You do any fishing? I hate fishing. I hate fish. Hate the taste, hate the smell, and hate all them little bones. I'm gonna need you to fill these up.
Nice meeting you.
Who told you to put the pants on? I didn't tell you to put the pants on. Who told you to put the pants on?
Hold still. There you are. Now tell me your story, my little friend.
You might start to see one of the problems with the movie. It goes back and forth between being for younger audiences and older audiences.
Get back. I've got soap, and I'm not afraid to use it.
Well, I can't say there's any one character that's specifically for kids, Mole excluded. You can tell this is the same people who did Hunchback, as it's almost like the Gargoyles took over directing certain scenes.
So we'll have a slow descent into the ocean where we let the awe and wonder of what Milo is experiencing really sink in.
Alright, and then we'll have a bunch of characters jumping around with a bunch of fast editing and silly sound effects.
And then we'll have a slow conversation about the expedition and how much Milo's grandfather really meant to him.
Followed by a bunch of fast talking, dirt, and of course, don't forget the pee and vomit jokes. How come there's no merchandise of me again?
With that said, the characters are very distinct, work well off each other, and majority of the time do get laughs. Watching it again, I was actually surprised other characters like Rourke, played by James Garner, Audrey, played by Jacqueline Orbadors, and Mrs. Packer, played by Florence Stanley, didn't get much attention before the first big action sequence. I kinda like this though because it gives time for them to be explored later. Almost like we're being introduced to new characters that weren't new at all, they were just in the background. With that said, they are quickly attacked when they find tons of destroyed ships, and a Star Fox boss battle moves in to kill them. One of the things that impressed me most years later is how well the CGI held up. With Disney 2D films, there's been CG that blends great and CG that doesn't blend so great. But it's very rare when all of it works. Even the ones that had the best CG had some glitch-ups here and there. Here, I couldn't find any. It all looks great. They do the Iron Giant thing of putting lines around the models, but they also move the painted background seamlessly too. They blend so amazingly that at Kita's transformation, I'm still not sure if that animation's CG, hand-drawn, or both. Part of that may be because the characters were designed by Mike Mignola, who always gives his drawings more of an angular look. I think those sharp edges made it easier to create a world where those flat surfaces could look a little more natural. I even remember my stomach dropping when they entered that air pocket. On the big screen, you really felt the pressure of them turning that ship upward. It was almost like a Disney ride. I don't think people consider how rare it is to have no awkward CG in a hand-drawn film. And this movie definitely deserves credit for that.
Tell Cookie to melt the butter and bring out the bibs. I want this lobster served up on a silver platter.
For future reference, sir, that quip took 5 seconds to say, and that's 5 seconds that could have saved lives.
Yeah, I know Joss Whedon helped write this, but you can be funny later.
The ship is destroyed, and much of their crew is lost in the battle. Oh yeah, this movie has an impressive body count.
We started this expedition with 200 of the finest men and women I've ever known. We're all that's left.
So many people blown up, drowned. Audrey even had to sacrifice a few folks to stop flooding. Thank God this rating is in the same category as mild thematic elements. What the fuck's in this that's worth a PG? I should also point out that this film was shot in panoramic view, and it takes full advantage of it. Not since Sleeping Beauty have it been so blown away with how much a Disney animated film utilized the space given to them. Again, on the big screen, this was phenomenal to look at. They continue their journey on dry land, where the crew mostly mocks Milo, but after a while lighten up and let him sit at the cool kids' table.
Halfway through medical school, I was drafted.
I'm saving up so my papi and I can open another shop.
So there was this leak. Boom! No more Chinese laundry. It was like a sign from a god.
This is really where you realize the strength of the characters. I could just sit and listen to them talk in a circle and be totally satisfied. Again, maybe not Mole. The French love Jerry Lewis, you say. Upon learning their backstories, Milo also discovers why each of them are down there. Tell me every director hasn't had this talk with Disney executives.
So that's what this is all about, right? I mean, discovery, teamwork, adventure. Unless you're just in it for the money.
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 I'm gonna say money.
That was word for word how they greenlit Lion King 2. Kind enough to present you with the mental image of Milo shitting, they're attacked by literal fireflies who burn the camp up. Milo gets separated and comes across the Atlantean princess Kita, voiced by Cree Summer, who heals him with her crystal. Everyone, I think we owe Gwyneth Paltrow an apology. I mean, we're never gonna give it, but... They finally stumble across the Lost City, which I have to admit does really have a strong identity. It really looks like a civilization that's futuristic, but also ancient. Their language was designed by the same guy who created Klingon. Their blue color scheme and white hair is a simple but quick way to make them stand out in a crowd. And their power source being tied to an energy crystal the same way ours is tied to electricity creates some interesting world building. I even like how they know tons of languages, even though it pretty much makes no sense.
Parlez-vous français?
Oui, monsieur.
They speak my language.
Their language must be based on a root dialect. It's just like the Tower of Babel.
I think that's kind of like saying, well, the root language of English is German, so I speak German. Hey, Tamara! Ich bin ein Stund Blumpensteiner.
Company schlagen.
Education. They're taken to King, played by Leonard Nimoy, who is not pleased with their arrival.
But we are peaceful explorers, men of science.
And yet you bring weapons.
Weapons mean evil. Did you not listen to the giant robotic weapon we sicked on you? He allows them one night to rest and prepare to leave, but Kita is eager to learn as much about them as possible.
What is your country of origin? When did the floodwaters recede? How did
Wait
you...
a minute, I got a few questions for you too.
I really enjoy how both of them are passionate about each other's worlds, even if, again, the details don't quite add up.
It is said that the gods sent a great cataclysm and banished us here.
I mean, that would make you 100 years old.
Yes.
100 years old? But she was like 5 when Atlantis sank. So let's say 95 years subtracted from 1914 equals totally a time period Plato would be remarking on. Yes, it goes perfectly with his other famous quote. Another interesting detail is they can't read their own language.
No one can. Such knowledge has been lost to us since the time of the Mabelmok.
Oh, the Great Flood.
They can speak countless others, but can't read their own. Maybe the root language only works verbally? Hey, I'm not a linguist. And neither are the writers, clearly.
But no matter what I try, it will not respond.
Turn the crystal 1/4 turn back.
Yes, yes.
While your hand was on the inscription pad.
Okay, I've bought a lot of nonsense in this movie, but this guy knowing anything about cars, I gotta draw the line somewhere.
We were never properly introduced. My name's Milo.
My name is Kiragakash.
Kiramashnaga.
Oh, glad to know he can speak their language, but can't pronounce her name. Nitpick. Let's get to where the movie actually gets bad.
You have a nice swim?
Yeah, remember when I said we learn more about Rourke later? Didn't mean that as a good thing.
Mercenary. I prefer the term adventure capitalist.
It's revealed that he was, in fact, a surprise villain. Yes, this is arguably where the long line of shitty twist villains began. I know you could argue Clayton or Gaston, but they were technically antagonists even from the start. This is a guy who was on their side and then suddenly switches. And just like so many of the twist villains that would follow, he's really fucking lame.
Now I'm going to count to 10, and you're going to tell me where the crystal is.
He wants to use the lost treasures and technology to sell to the highest bidder, which, as the later scene points out, they could literally take anything from there and become millionaires. But no, they gotta evil and beat up the king and take their power source because, oh, how that Bay Ninja Turtles movie put it?
I'm gonna be rich. Like, stupid rich.
Jesus, is that boring. It's hard to believe a company that came up with some of the greatest villains of all time had a long slump of boring schmucks that began with this guy. I can't act like all the great Disney villains had great motivations, but they had a passion and charm to their evil. This guy just talks about how rich he's gonna be. Oh my god, diabolical.
You led us right to the treasure chest.
I'd double the price.
I was thinking triple. It's big, it's shiny, it's gonna make us all rich. Jackpot. More for me. We're this close to our biggest payday. I love it when I win.
The sad thing is, I'm convinced Garner could be a really good Disney villain. Maybe they went to his history or why he wanted the money. All the other characters had reasons. Do like Ramesses, where we see why he's so stubborn. You can even keep it simple, like the bad guy from Rescuers Down Under. He just wanted money too, but he had a whole movie to be sinister and not just a dumb surprise at the end. This guy's just a dick. A dull dick, a surprise dull dick, a surprise dull dick made out of gluten-free toast.
Kings of our past.
They're taken to the heart of Atlantis, aka their energy source, as the bad guys try to figure out how to transport it.
Thatch, tell her to wrap it up. We got a schedule to meet.
She's still weird too. What was that look about? That floor looks delicious. I don't know, that look was so odd I can't even make a proper joke about it. But as is custom with this movie, whenever something lame happens, something fucking cool follows shortly after. Kita fuses with the power source in easily the best scene of the movie. It's visually stunning, the animation's beautiful, the music by James Newton Howard is stellar, and like I said before, it's hard to tell what part of her is hand-drawn and what part is CG. She really does look otherworldly. It does kind of lead to a weird edit though. After that amazing scene, you're wondering what's gonna happen. She gonna zap some shit or blow the bad guys to hell or be put in a crate? I don't know, something about containing a goddess like a frozen meal delivery just feels a little weird.
You're wiping out an entire civilization, but hey, you'll be rich.
Milo makes a big speech to the team though, and their conscience gets the best of them.
You can't be serious.
This is wrong and you know it.
Well, you really weren't acting like it before. I understand them going for the money and feeling bad when they found people, but look at them. They're happy as hell to be shitting on these people. They're even cracking one-liners.
Knock, knock. Room service.
You're gonna be rooting for us in 5 minutes. Quick side note, I love that they actually animate the door accidentally closing when Audrey kicks it open. That doesn't need to be in there, but it just adds another level of detail that makes the scene feel a little more alive.
We're all gonna die.
A moment of silence for the last bit of smoking we will ever see in an animated Disney film. You can kill Bambi's mom, but taking a puff, that's just too thematic an element.
You pick now of all times to grow a conscience?
They decide to stay behind with Rourke blowing up the bridge, destroying their only way out.
P.T. Barnum was right.
I hope I'm remembered as a musical lie. That's really is a Disney film. The King of Atlantis dies, making this Nimoy's 10th death on screen, revealing that he as well used the crystal as a weapon, leading to their downfall.
My burden would have become hers, but now it falls to you. My son.
Oh, I'm not sure. Okay, Dad. Milo's given the crystal, which he uses to power the vehicles, the ones none of them have used, but everyone is suddenly an expert at driving, and they all try to stop Rourke. Yay, the Jellicle Cat is chosen! This climax is a lot of fun, with a lot of energy, good animation, and sharp shadows on the ships, almost giving a rotoscope feel to it. And as much as I crapped on the villain, there is one shot where he's legitimately frightening. Jesus, those are some crazy eyes! Milo uses the glass from Kita's cell that has the crystal's energy on it, resulting in a pretty badass death. I don't even know what sound that is that he makes, but it's both kind of silly and kind of creepy at the same time. They get Kita back and try to have her restore power to Atlantis. Oh, and there's a volcano erupting, because of course there is. She calls upon the Iron Giant Castle and the Skybots to create a force field around the city. And I'm sorry, if you're not impressed by any of this, you can't call yourself an animation fan. It's pretty cool that the energy from the crystal is very similar to the markings on the city, almost like there was an awareness of where their life force came from and they used it in their art. Even when the energy breaks through the molten rock, it still forms those symbols. I'm sorry, this movie is not as brainless as a lot of people let on. Kita has returned to her formal self, and in a really refreshing turnaround, her and Milo don't kiss, they hug. Yeah, they've known each other for a day, and they act like people who have known each other for a day. A lot of folks like to praise later Disney for being more sensible with their romances, but Atlantis was one of the earlier examples of them trying this out.
They'll take you as far as the surface.
We're really gonna miss you, Milo.
Milo decides to stay behind and says goodbye to his friends who were given a bunch of Atlantean treasures. I guess that's a nice way of saying thanks for killing our king, leaving us for dead, and changing your mind at the last minute. All of them wearing some form of the Atlantean crystal is a nice touch too. I don't think I'm a mole fan. Milo gives Whitmore a crystal as well. Kita becomes queen, Milo becomes first gentleman, and they honor Kita's father by sending his Majora's Mask into the air. And that was Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Fuck the haters, I like it. Okay, I get why many wouldn't be on board with it, as the material for older audiences and younger audiences doesn't always mix. But it's just so imaginative, fun, charming, beautiful, and different enough from other Disney properties that I really do think it stands out. I do wish some things were improved on, like the villain and the inconsistent tone, but how can I tell someone to skip a movie that has so many unique visuals, characters, and ideas? If you're looking for a family-friendly mix of Jules Verne and Indiana Jones in the Disney style, I think this is a lot of fun. Check out this underrated adventure if you haven't already.
Excuse me, could you spare a nickel?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I got a nickel somewhere. I'm the nostalgia critic, I remember, so you don't have to.
That Snyder guy never went anywhere, did he?
Let me see if I have any bills.
P.T. Barnum was right.